And I'm back again. It's Tracy Lene, and welcome to me reading The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. But not in the audio book style reading where I just read it straight through. I'm going to stop from time to time and add my 55 years of wisdom. Take it or let it alone. I may not be your cup of tea, and I'm okay with that because up until 7 months ago, I was a coffee drinker. But my health started giving me some issues with drinking coffee, and I quit cold turkey. Went through the whole week of being very sick, throwing up, like really throwing up, being nauseous many of the days, and severe headaches because I had been drinking coffee for 32 years. It was a change, but I did it. I conquered it because I wanted my health to be better, and now it was blood pressure related. For me, coffee was elevating my blood pressure, and because I'm overweight, I was already dealing with blood pressure things, so I had to cut something out while I tried to lose this weight, which is harder than I thought, but it's not difficult. It's difficult, but it's doable, so I just have to do my part. Anywho, I would love it if you like, subscribe, or share this because I really want to grow my channel. I'm not going to stop. I ain't. Like Jay-Z says, I ain't going to stop. Anyhow, here we go. Florence Scovel Shinn, The Game of Life and How to Play It, The Law of Non-Resistance. Resist not evil, be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Nothing on earth can resist an absolutely non-resistant person. The Chinese say that water is the most powerful element because it is perfectly non-resistant. It can wear a rock away and sweep it all, and it can wear away a rock and sweep all before it. Oh, okay, and sweep all before it. Jesus Christ said, "Resist not evil," for he knew in reality there is no evil, therefore nothing to resist. Evil has come of man's vain imagination, or a belief in two powers, good and evil. There is an old legend that Adam and Eve ate of Maya, the tree of illusion, and saw two powers instead of one power, God. Therefore, evil is a false law man has made for himself through a sarcoma or soul sleep. Soul sleep means that man's soul has been hypnotized by the race belief of sin, sickness, and death, etc., which is carnal or mortal thoughts, and his affairs have outpictured his illusions. We have read in a preceding chapter that man's soul is his subconscious mind, and whatever he feels deeply, good or bad, is outpictured by that faithful servant. His body and affairs show forth what he has been picturing. The sick man has pictured sickness, the poor man poverty, the rich man wealth. People often say, why does a little child attract illness when it is too young to even know what it means? I answer that children are sensitive and receptive to the thoughts of others about them, and often outpicture the fears of their parents. I heard a metaphysician once say, if you do not run your subconscious mind yourself, someone else will run it for you. And that, we know that's true. We can see evidence of it all around. You can go to areas that are really just barren and desolate, and the people there act like that. They're really aggressive, and lots of times very angry. Well, that's what aggressive means. But lots of times very, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word right now. But you can go and you can feel the energy. They're desperate and they're in survival mode. And anybody in survival mode will kill you if they need to. So when you start to see that, whether it's in an urban city or a country setting, you know that those people are only acting out of a subconscious deficit. And it's not personal. It's never personal, though. Mothers often unconsciously attract illness and disaster to their children by continually holding them in thoughts of fear and watching for symptoms. For example, a friend asked a woman if her little girl had had the measles. She replied promptly, "Not yet." This implied that she was expecting illness and therefore preparing the way for what she did not want for herself and child. However, the man who is centered and established in right thinking, the man who sends only goodwill to his fellow men, and who without fear cannot be touched or influenced by the negative thoughts of others, in fact, he could then receive only good thoughts as he himself sends forth only good thoughts. When all of my children were little, I would whisper, when they were born, we whispered into their ear things about God. And when they were little and sleeping, I would always whisper into their ears how great they were, how magnificent they were, that they are here to serve God in a magnificent way. I did it all the time up until They were teenagers, and even then I would sneak in and say something in their ear because I knew the power of the subconscious mind. I was blessed to know that earlier. Didn't mean that life didn't offer me challenges, but I can say that every challenge that life has offered me, I have stepped up to that plate, hit that bat down, and said, batter motherfucking up. Now, does that mean that I didn't sometimes get afraid that the ball was going to hit me and squinch? Yes, but I stayed at that plate. Stayed at the plate with the bat ready to take it out. Sometimes I took it out sooner than others, but I always stood at that plate. I did not ever let life. The reason why this channel is called Breathing Underwater is because life will just keep throwing waves at you. You got to learn how to breathe underwater. You got to learn how to be a mermaid, baby. You got to, or else you out of here. Anywho, sorry. Okay, I'm going to read this again. However, the man who is centered and established in right thinking, the man who sends only goodwill to his fellow man, and who is without fear, cannot be touched or influenced by the negative thoughts of others. In fact, he could then receive only good thoughts, as he himself sends forth only good thoughts. Resistance is hell, for it places man in a state of torment. A metaphysician once gave me a wonderful recipe for taking every trick in the game of life. It is the acme of non-resistance. You know that acme that was on the, but if you ever saw Bugs Bunny the Coyote, the acme was the company that he always used. He gave it in this way. At one time in my life, I baptized children, and of course they had many names. Now I no longer baptize children, but I baptize events. But I give every event the same name. If I ever have a failure, I baptize success in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Ghost. In this, we see the great law of transmutation, founded on non-resistance. Through his spoken word, every failure was transmuted into success. For example, a woman who required money and who knew the spiritual law of opulence was thrown continually in a business way with the man who made her feel very poor. He talked lack and limitation, and she commenced to catch his poverty thoughts, so she disliked him and blamed him for her failure. She knew in order to demonstrate her supply, she must first feel that she had received. A feeling of opulence must precede its manifestation. I'm wearing this lip gloss by the Lip Bar, and it's kind of sticky. It dawned upon her one day that she was resisting the situation and seeing two powers instead of one. So she blessed the man and baptized the situation. Success, she affirmed. As there is only one power, God, this man is here for my good and my prosperity. Just what he did not seem to be there for. Soon after that, she met through this man a woman who gave her for a service rendered several $1,000s, and the man moved to a distant city and faded harmoniously from her life. Make this statement. Every man is a golden link in the chain of my good. I'll say it again. I'll say it slower. Every man is a golden link in the chain of my good. For all men are God in manifestation, awaiting the opportunity given by man himself to serve the divine plan of his life. Bless your enemy, and you rob him of his ammunition. His arrows will be transmuted into blessings. This law is true of nations as well as individuals. Bless a nation, send love and goodwill to every inhabitant, and it is robbed of its power to harm. Man can only get the right idea of non-resistance through the spiritual understanding. My students have often said, I don't want to be a doormat. I replied, when you use non-resistance with wisdom, no one will ever be able to walk over you. Get it? Non-resistant with wisdom. Not just non-resistant, but with the wisdom. Another example. One day I was impatiently awaiting an important telephone call. I resisted every call that came in and made no outgoing calls myself, reasoning that it might interfere with the one I was awaiting. Instead of saying, divine ideas never conflict, the call will come at the right time, leaving it to infinite intelligence to arrange, I commenced to manage things myself. I made the battle mine, not God's, and remained tense and anxious. I used to have this box. And when I would have a real issue that gave me a lot of anxiety, I would write it all. I would say, Dear God. And I would write it all out. And then I would say, you can have it now. And then I would put it in that box. In that box were the issues that I no longer wanted to resist. And I got it from this book. She didn't say to do that in this book. But understanding that I needed to not resist. That was my tool to not resist, to put it in my worry box, is what I call it. Worry no more box, because I would give it all to God. The bell did not ring for about an hour, and I glanced at the phone and found the receiver had been off that length of time, and the phone was disconnected. My anxiety, fear, and belief in interference had brought on a total eclipse of the telephone. Realizing what I had done, I commenced blessing the situation at once. I baptized its success and affirmed, I cannot lose any call that belongs to me by divine right. I am under grace and not under law. A friend rushed to the nearest telephone to notify the company to reconnect. Remember, y'all, this is 1930-something. She entered a crowded grocery, but the proprietor, why is it not coming out of my mouth right? Left his customer and attended to the call himself. The proprietor left his customer and attended to the call himself. My phone was connected at once, and 2 minutes later, I received a very important call, and about an hour after the one I had been awaiting. One ship come in over calm sea. So as long as man resists the situation, he will have it with him. If he runs away from it, it will run after him. And that is true. When you just decide this isn't real, like it's a Asian proverb saying that starve it and it will die. You have to starve it. And by starving it, you can't add anything to it. When you're done with the situation, you have to starve it. When the thoughts come up, you got to say, I don't think like that no more. And keep moving. And every time, and replace it. We talked about that. Replace it with a good thought. For example, I repeated this to a woman one day, and she replied, how true that is. I was unhappy at home. I disliked my mother, who was critical and domineering. So I ran away and was married. But I married my mother. For my husband was exactly like my mother, and I had the same situation to face again. Agree with thine adversary quickly. That means agree that the adverse situation is good. Be undisturbed by it, and it falls away of its own weight. None of these things move me. It's a wonderful affirmation. So that's, you could say that. When the thoughts come, none of these things move me. Come about your business, thought. I really believe that every situation in our life keeps coming back until we deal with it. Beyonce had that song, to the left, everything you in the bag to the left. And then she says in there, because I can have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute. Well, she's about to experience the same thing, because she says, I'll have another you in a minute. Why would she want that again? She just dealt with it. She just dealt with him, driving the chick around in the car she bought. She dealt with all of the stuff, the man that she made, because he didn't make himself. He took it for granted. But once she gave it to him, it was his, and he thought, I can do what I want with it. But he wasn't developed enough to understand commitment and loyalty. And then she's saying, you going to the left because I can have another you in a minute. Baby girl, you don't want another him. If somebody ever says to you, oh, you will be nothing without me. If, when I leave you, you'll never have another me. Say, that's the plan. I don't ever want to have another you. That's why you're leaving, because I don't want another you. You are one of a kind, and I don't want no more of that. So, yeah. And the inharmonious situation comes from some inharmony within man himself. When there is in him no emotional response to an inharmonious situation, it fades away forever from his pathway. When you heal that, you will attract better than that. And when you decide, I'm not going to get bitter, I'm going to get better. And I'm going to deal with the things inside of my heart that made me attract this situation, whether it be from you're marrying one of your parents and they're the way they were with you, or one of your best friends, or somebody you worked with earlier. That situation is going to come up until you deal with it. But you don't have to deal with it in the way you think. You have to let it go. Forgive them. Bless them. Heal them through your words. And people say, I'm not doing that. And then you just stay in the same situation. Might as well do that. It's the least resistant way to get to what you want. So we see man's work is ever with himself. It's always about you. Ain't no competition. It's just you against you every damn day. Every second is you against you. Ain't nobody thinking about you. It's you against you. It ain't never personal. Everybody is doing what they need to do to survive in their life, and you may get in their crossfire, but it's you against you. That girl who dates a lot of other men and you feel like she just did that to you, nope, she would have did that to the other man too, because it's her. That man who cheats and lies and steals, that woman who cheats and lies and steals, and you are the one that is getting the brunt of it, it's because you're in the line of fire. Move yourself out the line of fire. They'll find another victim. It is what it is for them. People have said to me, give treatments to change my husband's or my brother. I replied, no, I would give treatments to change you. When you change, Tracy, your husband, your brother, everybody will change. One of my students was in the habit of lying, and I told her it was a failure method. If she lied, she would be lied to. She replied, I don't care. I can't possibly get along without lying. One day she was speaking on the phone to a man with whom she was very much in love. She turned to me and said, I don't trust him. I know he's lying to me. I replied, well, you lie yourself. So someone has to lie to you, and you will be sure it will be just the person you want the truth from. Sometime after that, I saw her and she said, I'm cured of lying. I questioned, what cured you? She replied, I've been living with a woman who lied worse than I did. Often one is cured of his faults by seeing them in others. Life is a mirror. This stuff is sticky. Ooh, it's sticky when who does that. Okay, I like her other lipsticks, but I don't particularly care for this lip gloss. Life is a mirror, and we find only ourselves reflected in our associates. Living in the past is a failure method and violation of spiritual law. Let me say that again, and I'm talking to myself and the cheap seats. Living in the past is a failure method and a violation of spiritual law. If what was happening in the past is still happening, you're not living in the past, it's still the now. But if it is no longer happening, it's the past, let it go. If it's still happening, get out of the goddamn way. How long does it have to take for you to realize you don't have to keep doing the same thing expecting a different result? You ain't crazy, are you? Jesus Christ said, behold, now is the accepted time. Now is the day of salvation. I get up every morning and say stuff like that. Today is my salvation day. Today is so amazing. I'm so amazing. I have a mirror right there. I look in the mirror and I say, hey there, wonderful you. You're going to have a wonderful day. I do it every day, and it helps me get through when the day starts throwing stuff at me. When I got to breathe underwater. Woo! But I'm a mermaid, so I can breathe underwater, baby. Life is a mirror, and we find only reflected in our associates. Living in the past is a failure method and a violation of spiritual law. Jesus Christ said, behold, now is the accepted time. Now is the day of salvation. Lot's wife looked back and was turned into a pillar of salt. Now, my 2 cents on that. She didn't just turn into that Morton's lady on the can. What happened is she became bitter and salty. She looked back at the past. Not just look back. She stayed back. Because you can look back and turn back around. She didn't turn back around. She looked back. She was there and she became bitter. She started hating on things. Don't do that. And don't let people say you're doing that if you bring up their shit and they go, oh, you just living in the past. Or you're just living in the past. Because I don't ever want you to think it's just men that do it. Because women do it too. But they're still doing it. So no, I'm not living in the past. It's the now. You're now still the same asshole you were in the past. But I'm not going to be bitter. I'm going to get better. The robbers of time are the past and the future. Man should bless the past and forget it if it keeps him in bondage, and bless the future knowing it has in store for him endless joys, but live fully in the now. Eckhart Tolle does a lot of teaching you of how to live in the now, so you can look him up on YouTube, because the now is all we have. You don't have the future. Stop worrying. They say that anxiety is worrying about things that haven't even happened. We worried about it for. And depression is living in the past. For example, a woman came to me complaining that she had no money with which to buy our Christmas gifts. She said, last year was so different. I had plenty of money and gave lovely presents. And this year, I have scarcely a cent. I think she sounded like that when she said it. It was 1930. I replied, you will never demonstrate money while you are pathetic and live in the past. Dang. Oof. Live fully in the now and get ready to give Christmas presents. Dig your ditches and the money will come. She exclaimed, I know what to do. I will buy some tinsel twine, Christmas seal, and wrapping paper. I replied, do that, and the presents will come and stick themselves to the Christmas seals. Now, I used to dig my ditches and nothing happened. But I know why now. I was digging them with fear. I was digging them with doubt. I was digging them, but I was saying, I hope it happened. I hope it happened. While digging them, it didn't happen. I go, it didn't happen. I'm not worthy. No, I didn't have full faith. Didn't have full faith. This too was showing financial fearlessness and faith in God. And also, she just bought some tinsel twine. I would have went out and bought the presents. And that's kind of backwards. I buy the presents without the wrapping. She bought the wrapping, the presents came. I bought the presents, so the present said, well, I'm already here. You need money for some wrapping? That is a little bit of money. So yeah, do that. buy like the smaller things. Like you're about to move into a new house, go ahead and get a nice painting and say, this is where I want this painting to go. I see it on the wall, and keep the painting. Don't go out and say, I'm going to buy furniture. You ain't got nowhere to put it. This too is showing financial fearlessness. This too was showing financial fearlessness and faith in God. As the reasoning mind said, keep every cent you have, as you are not sure you will get any more. She bought the seals, paper, and twine, and a few days before Christmas received a gift of several $100s. Buying the seals and twine had impressed the subconscious mind with expectancy and opened the way for the manifestation of the money. She purchased all the presents in plenty of time. Man must live suspended in the moment. Look well, therefore, to this day. Such is the salutation of the dawn. Speaking of which, stop going outside looking crazy. You just can't. Don't go outside looking poor. Even if you only have a few outfits, wear them very, very well. Go outside. You don't have to wear makeup, but your hair can be combed. You can put a little coconut oil on your face. You know, you can do that. You can polish your nails yourself. You can go out, put your best self out there. Be the person you want to be right now. Show her, hey, you here. Talk like that person would talk. Walk like that person would walk. Eat like that person would eat. I'm telling you, it indeed works. He must spiritually be alert, ever waiting his leads, taking advantage of every opportunity. One day I said continually, silently, Infinite Spirit, don't let me miss a trick. And something very important was told to me that evening. It is most necessary to begin the day with the right words. I just told you that. But I read this book so many times, it probably came from my subconscious mind. Make an affirmation immediately upon waking. Make an affirmation upon waking immediately. For example, thy will be done this day. Today is the day of completion. I give thanks for this perfect day. Miracle shall follow miracle, and wonders shall never cease. I'm going to say it slow. You can write it down. Thy will be done this day. Today is a day of completion. I give thanks for this perfect day. Miracle shall follow miracle, and wonders shall never cease. Make this a habit, and one will see wonders and miracles come into his life. And I want to add this. By my bed, I keep a glass of water. 2, I drink 1 at night before I go to bed. And I have to get up and pee throughout the night, but it's the best thing for my body. It's why my skin be skinning. I do have on a little foundation today, but my skin be skinning. This lip gloss. Yeah, she has great product, but I don't like this. And then in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I look up, I said, cheers, cheers to the heavens. And I drink that glass of water while thinking great thoughts, because water is life. And I think those great thoughts with that water, and then I get up, start doing it. But I've been doing that for my son is 27, so for 27 years I've been drinking water as soon as I wake up in the morning, thinking good thoughts. I say 27 years because I was pregnant with him, actually a little over 27 years. I was pregnant with him when I met this man who became my really good friend, and he told me to do that. He said, you should drink water as soon as you wake up, it's good for you. He's like a Dr. Sebi type, but I did it. Okay. Make this a habit, and one will see wonders and miracles come into his life. One morning, I picked up a book and read it. And read, look with wonder at that which is before you. It seemed to be my message for the day, so I repeated it again and again. Look with wonder at that which is before you. And about noon, a large sum of money was given to me, which I had been desiring for a certain purpose. In the following chapter, I will give affirmations that I have found most effective. However, one should never use affirmations unless it is absolutely satisfying and convincing to its own consciousness. And often an affirmative is changed to suit different people. So say your own, make up your own. For example, the following has brought success to many. I have a wonderful work in a wonderful way. I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. I'll say it again. I have a wonderful work. You say it. In a wonderful way. I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. You might want to get that printed out. Put it by your bedside. I have something by my bedside. It says, make it happen today, Tracy. It's you. It's always you. It's always going to be you. I say that every day. arrogant much. I'm not arrogant, but I am getting more confidence. Have my moments though. Ask my best friends. They'll tell you. Woo! So grateful for those ladies. I have 3. And the following, okay, I said that. I gave the first 2 lines to one of my students, and she added the last 2. It made a most powerful statement, is there should always be perfect payment for perfect service. And a rhyme sinks easily into the subconscious. That's why we teach children in rhymes, because they can learn like that. So you teach yourself in rhymes. And that's why they, and when I say they, I'm saying the powers that be, the ones that want to be wicked and don't want to see people grow, let rappers say the most filthy and vilest things because they know that's going to get in your subconscious mind. Stop letting somebody call you a hoe. There's some songs that are very catchy, but they talking bad to us. And and they need to change. They really do. And so, well, they're not responsible for what you listen to. They are, because you hear it, and they are responsible for your children. It takes a village. So when people say, well, parents need to parent, yeah, parents can parent, but the children are going to school and with other parents who let the children listen to stuff that you don't let your child listen to, or your child won't hear it because your child's at school. And if you think you can say, well, your child should know better, you don't even know better. You 50 fucking years old doing shit you shouldn't be doing. Stop telling children what they should be doing. It's a village. It's everybody coming together and deciding to grow together. Stop acting like children do more than you do. You can't even put down a bag of Lay's potato chips at night, but you want children to not smoke weed when their friends smoking weed. Sit down somewhere. Where was I at? Another student, a businessman, took it and changed the words to work to business. He repeated, let's say this together because we are business people. I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way, and I give wonderful service for a wonderful pay. I'll use that one again today because I got a business, y'all. You know, I made these earrings. I do phone cases. The tote bags. Guys, I'm going to put the tote bags on my TikTok. You have got to see the tote bags. I stayed up late last night burning the midnight oil making. Ooh, they make the Lord proud. Anywho. And I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. That afternoon, he made a $41,000 deal. Now, wouldn't that be nice if you just said that and made a $41,000 deal today? I want my 10%. Run me my money if you get that. So let's say it again because I want you to get it. I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way. And I give wonderful service for a wonderful pay. You also got to say it with feeling because feeling is what gets it. You ever say, I felt that was going to happen. You know why? Because the feeling gets what you know. Ooh, that afternoon, listen to this. He made a $41,000 deal, though there had been no activity in his affairs for months. Don't give up on you. Every affirmation must be carefully worded and completely cover the ground. Completely. Don't say, oh my God, I would love $1 million because your mama could die and you get her insurance. You don't want that $1 million that way. So I always say, ooh, I'm so happy that $1 million is finding me in a perfect way with harming no one and it's here today. I say stuff like that. No, the $1 million isn't here yet, but it's just because it's not time, y'all. It's just not time. It'll be here on time. Everything is always on time. For example, I knew a woman who was in great need and made a demand for work. She received a great deal of work, but was never paid anything. She now knows to add wonderful service for wonderful pay. The universe only responds to what we say. So if you say it incorrectly, the universe is like, what you mad at me for? That's what you said. I just gave you what you said. All I know is yes. You said that, so I gave you yes. You said you didn't want to go to work today. You said, I wish I was sick. I don't go to work today. So then I gave you COVID. What you mad about? You said, damn, you can't win for losing with these people. The universe is like, that's what. And then this goes like Marvin Gaye, make me want to holler and throw up both my hands. Whew. It's man's divine right to have plenty, more than enough. You are here to have. Don't let anybody tell you born to be poor. No, you not. Tell them they born to be poor, but you ain't. So the devil is a liar. His barns should be full and his cup should flow over. This is God's idea for man. And when man breaks down barriers of lack in his own consciousness, the golden age will be his and every righteous desire of his heart is fulfilled. Thank you so very much for listening so long. The next tomorrow is the law of karma and the law of forgiveness. You got to tune in for that. Again, please like, share, and subscribe if this is your cup of tea. If it's not, it's all good. I get it. I'm in the space in my life. I'll be 56 years old June 17th that I'm recognizing that life is lifing and people are doing what they need to do. And if I don't take care of me, nobody will, because I'm responsible for me and my 4 babies. Even though they, 3 of them are grown, I'm still responsible for them. They still my babies, period. I'm a helicopter mom. Welcome to helicopter mom life. But when they have mates, I love the mate. I don't get involved. I'm not that type of mom. I don't have husbands. I got sons. I don't try to, make them my husband. I have a husband. I don't have to make other people my husband. Anywho, you all have an amazing, amazing Thursday. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Like, share, subscribe. I will see you tomorrow if I'm on this side. If I'm not and the Lord done call me home, then it's like, I see y'all when I see ya.